Peace and prosperity to the family. What up, what up, what up? Brother Polight, this is addressed to you. Brother Polight, you are wrong, wrong, wrong about credit. You are wrong about your philosophy with credit. And I'm going to try to keep this message as succinct as possible about why you're wrong. Now, you say that cash is king and credit is queen. You are fucking wrong. You're telling the people the wrong shit. First off, cash is king. So you got that one right. Cash is king. But credit is not queen. Cash flow is queen. Credit is a side bitch. You dig what I'm saying? Peace and prosperity to the family. Now, a disclaimer before I really get into some game. Brother Polight is actually one of my favorite influencers, conscious community leaders, whatever the fuck. I don't like putting people in a box. You know, I think these people are what they are. They're going to be what they're going to be. But I really value Brother Polight's knowledge and his work and his contributions. But that don't mean that I'm going to just sit back and watch while this motherfucking foolery is going on and shit. Talking about, you know, credit this and credit that. You know what I'm saying? Now, it is blatantly obvious we live in a credit world. But for you to be all about wealth and the prosperity of your people, and you pushing this credit shit, that shit ain't gonna free us. That's just, you know, credit cards are just micro versions of these motherfucking student loans. This mass poverty induced agenda that they got going on. All right, and then before I get all esoteric and shit, let me break this down into facts and tell the people why Brother Polight is wrong about credit. But I'm making this video because Brother Polight's, you know, supposedly all about our, you know, black people succeeding, you know what I'm saying, and elevating. But we're not going to elevate until we really get some clarity about what credit actually is. And like I said, I just gave you some clarity in a nutshell for, you know, the dumb motherfuckers, because most of y'all probably won't listen to this all the way through. And then most of y'all also, the information is probably going to go over your head because you've been conditioned for so long to think a certain way. So I'm going to say it one more time, right? And I'm going to really break it down and dive deep. So cash is king, cash flow is queen, and credit is a side bitch. Cash is king, cash flow is queen, and credit is a side bitch. You know what I'm saying? That's the side bitch. That's the one that you know. I'm gonna break it down, right? All right, so let's talk about what credit is first. Basically, credit is your reputation for borrowing money. That's what your reputation is. But in the context of what we're talking about is we're talking about credit cards and we're talking about debt. You know, we're not talking about high level credit where you have a net worth of $10 million and the bank wants to offer you 20 million, you know, a $20 million loan. You know what I'm saying? They're coming at you trying to offer. We're not talking about that kind of shit. We're talking about the type of credit to where, you know, you got a credit score, you got 750, 600, 550 credit score, you got a FICO score, you got a FACO score. You know, there's Credit Karma. We're talking about Experian. We're talking about I think it's TransUnion, or all these different, you know, credit bureaus and all this type of shit. We're talking about this kind of shit. We're not talking about your credit report. Your credit report is your history of what you've borrowed on credit, your history of loans. And what will appear in your credit report would be like, you know, your history of mortgages and your history of car loans and leases of that nature. The best credit reports are blank, but credit reports are completely different from credit scores. All right, so let's go into the credit score thing. First off, they fooling us with this credit score shit because every business is a free enterprise business, mostly in America. And so every business that we do business with, they have the right to determine what they feel is a proper or adequate score. And they use many metrics and algorithms and key performance indicators to calculate your score, which literally means that Credit Karma, which Credit Karma I believe will give you a FICO score, not an actual FICO score. But say your FICO score comes back and it's tier 1, 750, right? So, well, let's make it a little bit more realistic. Most of you guys probably have a credit score around like 660, so we'll say like 650. Say your credit score is 650 right now, and that's what you believe your credit score is. Your credit score is actually, in reality, it's not a solid score, any one score. You literally have thousands of scores because of all the types of businesses that take a credit card, use different algorithms to, basically calculate your score. So you have thousands of them. You go to one dealership, will have different algorithms for calculating your credit score for the next. So that means at one dealership, you can have a credit score of 650. Another dealership, you can have a credit score of fucking 800. Another dealership, you can have a credit score of 300. So these different businesses will calculate your score based on their internal proprietary algorithm and in collaboration with their banks. So that's the first thing. So your credit score is not even fucking real. So the FICO is fake and the FACO is fake. The FACO score, FAKO, is basically just a fictitious FICO score, which is already fake. So the FACO score is double fake, and the FICO score is that shit that you're actually seriously thinking that that's your credit score. That shit is fake as well. You don't have one score, you have thousands of them. Now moving on to what credit actually is. So we said credit earlier was your reputation for borrowing money, but in this case, the application of using credit, now it's you basically are in the mindset of, and this is why credit is so dangerous, because of the mindset it puts you in. Let me nail this down so there's we're grounded in something here. The mindset that people who use credit are in the mindset of poverty, begging, desperation, basically negotiating the interest rate down on something that they want to pay for rather than negotiating the actual price and what they're buying. So it puts you in a kind of, you don't have any leverage when you use credit. You know what I'm saying? You think you do. When you use net worth, you got more leverage. We'll get into that, you know what I'm saying? But we'll get into I have to kind of I'm trying to address Brother Polight shit, and I'm trying to address the people shit. You know what I'm saying? So how do I want to communicate this? So going back to it, cash is king. The reason why cash is king is because cash gives you the ability to go in and say a car is 30,000. With cash, if you got 30 grand in cash, you ain't got to spend 30K in cash. You can go in and say, hey, I got 20 for you. I got 22 for you. You know what I'm saying? Take 8 grand off for me. I got $22,000 in cash right now. I can put it in your hands. That's much more enticing than saying, hey, I got an 850 credit score. You know what I'm saying? I can borrow money on anything I want to buy here. You know what I'm saying? I can get approved for anything. I can get approved. Nigga, with cash, you already motherfucking approved. The reason why people are so into credit is because they don't have cash and they don't have the capital. And the reason why credit is so far, and I'm jumping around here, I apologize, forgive me, but the reason why credit is so motherfucking dangerous is because the way society is being set up, it's being set up to make people not have any cash at all. You know what I'm saying? So right now, there's really probably pretty much no one that I can go to or no one that you can go to that actually has cash to give you, because everyone's living off of fucking credit. So if everyone's living off of credit, making credit the fucking, you can't turn a hoe into a housewife. Why are you trying to wife up the side bitch? Credit is the side bitch, and you're trying to make credit the motherfucking queen when cash flow is the queen. And we'll get into that. But forgive me for being all over the motherfucking place. But look, lost my motherfucking train of thought. Look, credit, because everyone's living off of motherfucking credit, you can't go to somebody that you know and borrow credit from them, because they're already borrowing credit from somebody else because they're living off of credit cards. So somebody could buy, like for example, if my mom lives paycheck to paycheck and she lives off of credit, I can't go to her and get some cash from her because she doesn't have any. All her cash is absorbed via the rent and the bills and the car or whatever the fuck, right? But she's living off of credit, so she can't give me anything if I need it. You know what I'm saying? And that's dangerous. That's why credit is so dangerous. Take my situation and multiply that by the masses. And when it comes to black people in specific, now I'm not just talking about, this message is not just for all people in general, because different groups of people have different needs. In terms of black people, we cannot afford as a fucking race of blacks, black and brown people, to make credit the main bitch, to make credit the motherfucking queen. We can't do that. We have to make cash flow the queen. You know what I'm saying? But Brother Polight is like, oh, well, how do we get there if we don't have shit? So that's where the fucking debate comes in. You know what I'm saying? I look forward to debating Brother Polight on this when I have my points together, because this is also a rant at the same time as it is, you know, a factual, you know, discussion. So, we're relying on fucking credit. We're being told, you know, we need credit for this and credit for that. The fact is, you don't need credit. You don't need credit. You need fucking cash. That's what you need. Because credit is just a fucking, it's a middleman. It's not even a middleman. Cash is the middleman, and credit is like adding an additional middleman to that group, which makes things even more fucked up. But with cash, you can negotiate the price down on something that you actually want. With credit, you cannot negotiate the price down on something that you actually want, meaning that credit is not power. And they're fooling us by putting buy power on these fucking credit cards. You know, Capital One, they have a card that says buy power. Chase has a credit card, freedom. Wells Fargo has a credit card, cash. That credit is not fucking cash. Credit is you using someone else's money that you don't even fucking see. Completely electronic. The biggest scam of the motherfucking scams. Brother Polight, when I talk about scams, well, you know, pick your fucking scam. Pick your fucking poison, because credit is one of the biggest motherfucking scams. Cash gives you the ability to negotiate the price down on something that you really want. Credit gives you the ability to negotiate the interest rate down on purchasing something that you really want, but it doesn't allow you the ability to negotiate the actual price of the thing down as much as cash does. But what we don't want to do is have a credit mindset, and that's what I'm getting at. This is why what Brother Polight is saying is so dangerous, because he's not putting it in the context. Sign up for this. He's pushing credit. Credit is going to imprison us. It's going to enslave us. You know what I'm saying? I think Malcolm X's father told him that, you know, debt is the road back into slavery. So why would Brother Polight be pushing credit so much? I don't understand it. I don't get it. I do get it, but then again, I fucking don't. If you say you're for the people, you would not be pushing credit so hard without putting it in the proper fucking context, without letting our people know to understand that credit is just for fucking emergencies, right? It's not to fucking pay bills with consistently. In fact, credit is a fucking side bitch, a side hoe that you don't even fucking see that often. That's the type of thought that, you know what I'm saying, you might fuck with when you're depressed, and you might need a little motherfucking, you might need to get it in the boom boom room and shit to get your energy back up, and then you leave it alone, and then you back to business. You feel me? You back on your shit. Cash flow is queen, because cash flow is actual freedom. You know, cash flow is like when you own a motherfucking real estate property. Well, how do you get the real estate property? It's a different type of credit. It's a different type of business credit. Business credit is what you want. What you don't want is relying on that personal credit shit. You know what I'm saying? Forgive me for spitting. This shit is all over the place. I may have to make another video just because I want to summarize my thoughts better. I just want to be fair to people that are watching this. But hold on. Getting spit on the fucking screen. This is something else. But yeah, you don't want to fucking use credit. I mean, you don't need credit to get a mortgage on a house. You don't need credit to fucking lease a car, and you don't need credit to you're gonna need credit to make monthly payments if you want to make shit in installments. But to lease a car, all you need is fucking cash. You know, you go walk up in a fucking dealership. You tell them that you have tier 1 credit, because they're gonna ask you to run your credit, and you're gonna say, I'm not running my credit. I'm too smart to run my credit at multiple dealerships, because right now I'm shopping for the best price I can possibly get. So I'm not gonna run my credit again. You know what I'm saying? So you're putting them in the mindset that you already run your credit, at other places. You know what your score is. You want them to come to the table with what they can offer you. So you're going to say, my credit score is 750. I have tier 1 credit. Run the numbers for the lease based off of that. And then you're going to pay the lease off in cash. You're going to have the cash because you're not going to have a credit mentality. If you do have credit, you're going to use credit smart. And the only smart way to use credit is to not use it at all. That's the only smart way to use personal credit, right? And I should have like started it off like there's 2 types of credit. There's personal credit. Well, it's really 3. There's personal credit, there's business credit, and then there's street credit, which you can't really do anything with. So personal credit is what we're attacking here, you know. And I think Brother Polight is more so focused on business credit. But the fact is why Brother Polight is pretty much wrecking the consciousness of our communities, because he's not putting it in the context. He's not being specific with what he's talking about. He just says credit in general, and credit in general is the root of all motherfucking evil, because credit is what makes people toxic, right? Toxic is a relationship term. It's also a financial term. So if you're toxic, it means you're harmful or poisonous or venomous to others. Or if you're toxic in terms of business, it means you are indebted, you are insolvent, you're unable to pay things, you are toxic, you're in debt. Toxic means to be in debt. So if you're encouraging a credit without putting it in the proper context, then you're putting people in a credit mindset, which means you're encouraging them to be toxic, which means you're encouraging them back into fucking slavery. And black people can't afford this. White people maybe, because their net worth ain't going to be $0 like black people is in 33 years from now, in 2053. Black people need to do something different. So all this motherfucking advice that people be giving, like you need to be very specific with what black people need to do, because if you're black and you're speaking, well, you're going to be looked at as a fucking leader. You know what I'm saying? I'm on YouTube, I'm on this platform. You know what I'm saying? I can say I'm a business developer. I can say I'm a consultant. But at the beginning of the day, I'm a black business developer. I'm a black consultant, and everybody fucking knows it. Some people might want to remind me that I'm black. Some people don't have to. But white people know I'm fucking black. They know that. You know what I'm saying? But their stance is, you know, well, color doesn't matter, because they have the privilege to be able to say that color doesn't matter because they own everything. They're on the motherfucking currency. Ain't no black faces on the currency. So they don't have those certain psychological barriers to overcome. So they're just in a world that is in a paradise that has been built and designed for their success, not ours. This is just going to have to be a rant. And then I'm going to really go in on Brother Polight's black ass later on when I have my thoughts a little bit more structured. I got a lot of stuff in my mind right now. My own credit is not good. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not against credit just because my own credit isn't great. I've been in positions where my credit has been very great, but I realized the impact of everybody having this credit mentality. I'm focused on building wealth. I'm focused on having capital and cash flow. Because as long as you have cash flow, people are going to be offering you fucking credit that you don't even fucking need. But as long as you have a credit mentality, I'm going to build my score so I can get approved for things, you're never going to have wealth, because your mentality is focused on building a score so you can be approved for getting yourself into debt, rather than building your knowledge and your understanding of business systems and processes and skill sets, and building teams and becoming a leader and having a purpose, mission, and vision that's compelling to you, a strong why in your life, and becoming a leader of that purpose, mission, and vision, forming a team around that, forming an organization around that can purchase and buy and merge and acquire other organizations. You know, these organizations are businesses, of course. These are companies, and that's how you build wealth. Because Brother Polight always talks about how only 5% of the people on a fucking planet are in a position to actually build and create wealth, while the 95% of the fucking whole entire human race is in poverty, or they're not in a position to properly and consistently acquire and build wealth. So you're talking this credit shit to, so I get what you're saying. You're talking this credit shit to 95% of the population, not the 5%. I'm a part of the 5%. 95% of the population is going to have the mentality of credit, because they'll never be in a position to build wealth because they just don't have the mentality. But at the same time, if you want more of the 95% to move into the 5%, you wouldn't be pushing this credit shit. So that's where I don't fucking understand it. You would actually be teaching towards how do we actually acquire wealth, cash money in my fucking hands, not fucking, oh, you have $4,000 or $40,000 credit limit. Wow, I can borrow all this, but I have to pay it back. No, I'd rather have $40,000 because I can do a lot more with $40,000 than I can $40,000 in credit. Yeah, I can borrow other people's money and I don't have to use the cash that I have right away. But because I have the skills and the mindsets that I have, which is what Brother Polight should be teaching to, the skills that I fucking have and I possess, I can take some cash and I can fucking run a fucking bag up. We need the skills to be able to take some cash and run a motherfucking bag up. And we need the skills to be able to acquire cash because guess what? Snapchat and all these fucking billion-dollar tech startups, when they raise capital, they don't raise money from lending institutions. They don't borrow money. They get investors. They don't get lenders to invest and grow the valuation. You know what I'm saying? Facebook. They don't get lenders. They get people to invest in exchange for equity. That's what we need. We don't need loans. We need capital. And black people can't go to nobody that we know for capital. So it's like we're forced to go to credit, but if everybody's on credit, nobody's really ever going to have no fucking capital because everybody's going to have a motherfucking credit mentality. So if I can't borrow cash from my mother to go do some shit, to run an errand, you know what I'm saying? If I can't borrow cash from my own mother, well, let's scale that up. It's not just me going through this. There's millions of us out here that, we're surrounded by people that just live off of fucking credit cards because they were told credit score, prioritize that. That's the most important thing. It's not the most important thing because cash flow is queen. Cash is king and credit is a side bitch. So, yeah, you don't need credit to have, to get an apartment. You know what I'm saying? What you need to do is you need it's called a rental packet, and you show that to your property manager. You present a rental packet to the landowner, and you show them that you have an average daily balance in your bank account of $10,000. That's your average daily bank account balance, and you give them a compelling but brief reason of why you want to specifically live where you're at. They just want to see some validation in terms of you're serious about your commitment to paying the rent here. They don't require. They may make you think that they require running your credit to see what kind of tenant you're going to be, but they don't need that. They much rather you have cash in the bank and you be able to prove what your average daily balance is in your bank, which means you have a minimum of $10,000 in the bank at all times. As long as you have that, you'll always be able to fucking pay the rent. If your rent is, what rent typically is, $1,000, to $2,500. As long as you have $10,000 in your bank at all times, this is your average daily fucking balance. You can't lie about that. That's fucking cash. You know what I'm saying? As long as you have that, they'll gladly accept you as a tenant because it shows that you're responsible with real money. Everybody else they're putting in their apartment, running their fucking credit, they ain't got no cash in the fucking bank. All they have is fucking credit. So if the job that they're working at lets them go, they can't pay no rent. That's an eviction. So who's in a stronger position? Someone who shows a rental packet to a landowner or property manager saying, hey, this is why I want to live in this particular place. This is where I work. This is how much I make. And this is how much my average daily balance is. This is how much cash I have on me at all times. And these are my dreams and my plans and my visions for myself. You could add in stuff and, about your personality. That's what you present. That's called a rental packet. You present that, you're getting your fucking apartment. Because cash is going to be way more persuading than having fucking credit. Because credit is just fairy dust. It's not even fucking real. They're just doing that because it's like the easiest way to comply with this credit society. They're just reacting to what you guys are doing. What the 90%ers are fucking doing. Which is relying on credit. So if you guys are all relying on credit, they just want to see, they're going to assess the value of you because you're the asset. You're the one that's the building, the commercial property or the building or the apartment is not the actual asset. It's the people that are paying the rent month to month. Those are the assets. They want to fill the building up because the more the building is filled up, then the higher the cash flow and performance of the property. So you are the asset, and they want to evaluate how healthy of an asset or how strong of an asset you are. And so they're doing that they're asking you to run your credit score because everybody's on credit. And so the person with the best credit score and the least amount of bullshit on their credit report is the one that's going to get the apartment. But when you have a rental packet and you're able to show $10,000 of cash in your bank account as an average daily balance, meaning you have that there at all times, and you have a job and they know your income is going to be 3 times whatever the fucking rent is, and etc., and you show why you want to be there, why you want to live there, and what you're striving for in life, and you just show them a 1 to 2 page rental packet, that's what you fucking present. They're gonna take you over that other fucking person who's competing for that apartment with their fucking credit score, because they really don't give a fuck about the credit score. What they give a fuck is about you being able to pay the fucking rent. So skip the fucking middleman, because credit is not even the middleman. Cash is the middleman. It's what we use to exchange for something that we want. You know, cash is just a fucking middleman. You know, money is the middleman. You only need one middleman. Adding credit to the picture, you're adding a whole nother middleman to the picture. So now you're going through two to three fucking people just to get what the fuck you want. It makes sense to focus on the king and the queen in the game and not the side bitch. The king and the queen is cash and cash flow. You want cash flow, and cash flow comes from businesses. So first you want a high income skill. Your high income skill is going to allow you to generate 10 grand a month, because that's what a high income skill is. It's a skill that you have, that you possess, where you determine how much you want to get paid, and you can take that skill and consulting, digital marketing, copywriting, you know, you have these skills. Being an IT, cyberspace professional, analyst, business analyst, you can take this skill and you can freelance and take on, you know, instead of having an employer, you can turn your would-be employers into your clients, and you can run your own business based off your high income skill. But first you start off with a high income skill, you take on small projects, and then you build a scalable business. A scalable business is what's going to give you that cash flow. You know what I'm saying? A high income skill is going to get you cash. It's going to make you the king. Cash flow is going to get you your queen. You know what I'm saying? Cash flow comes from you developing a scalable business. And in order to have a scalable business, you need a business model that's going to facilitate that. And then you move on and graduate on from there to high return investments. And this is Dan Locke's wealth triangle, if you want to look that up. Dan Locke, D-A-N, last name L-O-K. Dan Locke's wealth triangle. It's his process of how you can create wealth from where you are. So your high return investments are going to net you, get you wealth. They're going to give you gains. They're going to appreciate your money. Then give you high level returns. You know what I'm saying? But you get that cash flow from your business. Businesses are what produce cash flow. Jobs are what produce income. You know? And so that's what it is. And I have a philosophy, I have a rule myself. I think that your minimum wage should be your age per hour in income and nothing less. So if you're going to begin to rise above society, your standards have to rise above society first. And if your standards are just settling for what the minimum wage is in your city or area, wherever the fuck you live, then you'll always be fucking poor. You'll always be in poverty. You know what I'm saying? Having higher standards, you might struggle for a little bit more than other people. You might struggle a lot. Like I'm struggling right now having higher standards. But if you maintain those higher standards and you maintain your position in place and time, and space and time, eventually the world is going to have to fucking bend to you, because you've made yourself strong. You're like a fucking tree. The tree has to grow against the wind and all these other different things. It still has sunlight, still has rain from water, it still has carbon dioxide, we can photosynthesis and shit, but it has other resources in its environment cooperating with it, but at the same time it also has difficulties as well. I don't have many people cooperating with me, but I'm building my skills to get people to cooperate with me, and it's slowly coming together. So even the black card, like the wealthiest people in the world, they don't really use credit like that because they don't really fucking need it. The wealthiest people in the world, like even like these Centurion cards, those are charge cards. So basically, those are not really credit cards. Those are charge cards. So they basically use the cash that you have in your bank. You know, so it's the same as carrying cash around, but it's in the form of plastic. You know what I'm saying? So those Centurion what's happening is the masses are trying to copy, they're trying to have the masses copy the 1%ers who have these black cards, which the limit on those black cards are determined by your net worth. Now they say they're unlimited, but they're only unlimited because they are limited to how much cash you have. And if you're very wealthy, if you have $100 million, well, that's an unlimited cash card. You can spend as much as you fucking want because it's your own money that you're fucking spending. That's why they're unlimited. And they're unlimited because they're not credit cards. Credit cards, you always have a fucking limit because you're limited to what someone else wants to give you. This is not how wealthy people function. So, Brother Polight, you are fucking wrong. You are wrong trying to teach our people all about fucking credit. Well, you're really not teaching them because there's a lot of videos about you scamming motherfuckers, but that's another topic. You are wrong about not defining what we really fucking need, and what we really need to go for is wealth. And if black people are going to have wealth, then black people must be in a position to invest in their entrepreneurs, because entrepreneurs are what's going to create wealth. Yes, there's real estate. Yes, there's stocks. But you wouldn't have real estate if it weren't for real estate developers. Real estate developers are the entrepreneurs of the real estate sector. They're the ones that develop new buildings and shit like that and new things. So entrepreneurs create things. You know, stocks, you wouldn't have publicly tradable stocks if you didn't have entrepreneurs that created these companies that are publicly fucking tradable. You know what I'm saying? So entrepreneurs are the beginning of wealth. Wealth begins at entrepreneurship. Wealth does not begin at 150 fucking thousand. You know what I'm saying? My number is 5 million. That's real. That's where real wealth begins, and that's a fucking small amount. You know what I'm saying? That ain't shit. That's just a drop in the fucking bucket. But nobody's really gonna be able to fucking do shit with 150,000. Yes, I get it. To be an accredited investor, you have to have, you know, an income of 200,000, I believe, or a net worth of $1 million. So yeah, and then you know you have your spouse. So if you combine that, you know, $2 million, you know, combined between you. So yeah, so yes, a lot of these, you know, the SEC, the Security Exchange Commissions, which, you know, claims to have those rules in place to protect, you know, investors from themselves. You know, like if Brother Polight listening to this shit, you know what I'm saying? You know what the fuck I'm talking about there. But wealth really begins at 5 million. So we need to we need to fucking raise our fucking standards, because that's the only way we're going to get some real powerful leadership in this community to take us to the level we need to fucking be at. You know what I'm saying? The levels that were taken from us. So, yeah, this is a rant, and I'm definitely going to come out with another video in the future, near future, that's going to address this credit situation, because I'm not even in my bag. Like, I'm not even really spitting facts like that. I'm just ranting. Honestly, this is just a rant. This is just a fucking rant. But I'm not in my bag, you feel me? Because I've just left the credit situation alone for so long. And because I know what the fuck it is, it's a fucking sick fucking game. You know what I'm saying? And they playing games with people's subconscious minds by saying buy power and literally putting cash on these credit cards. They're trying to convince you, and they're trying to induce poverty, because if all of us are using credit, then none of us are going to have any cash to give and borrow and lend each other, which means we're even more dependent on the system now than ever before. When we have cash, we have freedom. When we have cash flow, we have true freedom. Cash is liberty. Cash flow is true freedom. And that's what the wealthiest people on the planet have. And this is how you get wealth. You have to have your own business. You have to be able to build teams of, you know, trusted partners and professionals. Once you build your own business, you get your purpose, mission, and vision in order. Then you become a leader of that. And then a team forms around a leader, and then you have an organization. The organization is how you progress into an actual business that can outlive you and create wealth for yourself and others, and render a high-value service to society. But that business is going to be comprised, and that team is going to be comprised, and the organization is going to be comprised of highly talented people and skill sets, because all money is traded for a skill set or labor of some kind. If you go and buy a cheeseburger, you're not actually paying for the cheeseburger, you're paying for someone to make it for you. If you go and buy a Ferrari, you're not actually paying for the Ferrari. The Ferrari is just a result of automotive engineering expertise and talent and design. So you're paying for the labor and the skill set of other people. And my iPad's about to die, so I got to finish this up. So you're paying for the talent and skill set of other people. And that's what you're paying for. That's where your money's going to. The stuff, the result that you want is just a finalized version, finalized product of what you're paying for. So if we know that, then in order for you to get wealthy, you got to sell shit. You got to have a product and service. And the way you're going to have a product and service that is highly valuable, that you're going to be able to exchange for the wealth that you want, is surrounding yourself with experts and professionals and people that know shit that you need to know but that you don't know. And you can cover their weaknesses and they can cover your weaknesses, because the definition of a team is an interdependent group of people working toward a shared goal. Now, the interdependent means that people cannot achieve the shared goal without each other. They need each other in order to survive, in order to win, in order to succeed and dominate. There's different levels of this shit. You got to plan your business. It doesn't just happen overnight. You have to plan it. You have to plan it. It might take years of you planning your business just for you to get the right fucking mind frame and thinking structure in order. Then after you plan your business, you got to build it. You got to build your business. You know what I'm saying? You can't even start your business until you build your business. And then building might take years. And then once you start your business, you're still not making money. You're not making money planning or building or starting your business. Starting your business, you're trying to break even. Building your business, the business is costing you. And planning your business, you're sweating equity. So you ain't making nothing. You know what I'm saying? And after you start your business, you have to be able to improve your business. And that's when you might start making money. So you got to go through multiple phases: planning, building, starting. And all those 3 phases, that's taking years and years of your time and energy. That's costing you. It's not making you any money. And then you move into improving your business. You're now making a little bit of money. And then finally, you've improved your business enough to where you can win at your business. And that's when you're making money. And then when you win at your business for long enough, you can begin to dominate your business. And dominating your business is where you're not just making money. You're fucking, you know what I'm saying? You're the motherfucking man. So that's what it is. And we're going to cut it there, family. This was a rant. I apologize if this was all over the place, but I hope you took some value away from this. And I'll probably put rant in the title so that you know it's a rant. And then I'll come, and I like to put these videos out here because I like to be in the habit of replacing rather than creating, because a lot of us can wait before we start to create. But if we replace, that means we're just uploading what we need to upload and then getting inspiration from that to say, hey, I can do that better, and then replacing it with something better. So that's how I'm going to build my channel, is just putting out the stuff I need to put out, coming back to the videos, watching them. I could have done this way better, made this way shorter, made this way more brief. You know what I'm saying? Because I said I was going to keep this succinct. It ended up turning into a fucking rant. You know what I'm saying? So I replace things, and that's how you get this fucking content out there. That's how you make progress. You replace, you replace, you replace. You don't create. So peace and prosperity to the family. Let's get it. And Brother Polight, you're wrong.